Everybody has this thing that they want to become, that they fantasize about, but they don't take it serious enough that it is actually possible. And it's not just possible, it's really what you should do. If you have a strong feeling about something and you put it off, the universe and eventually your body is going to remind you. And I had to go through that, but now I really listen to that call, and I'm living really my not just my dream life, but what I think is really a total alignment with what I should be doing in this incarnation. So it's very fulfilling.
All right, y'all. On today's podcast, we got an exciting one. Speaking from personal experience out here in Costa Rica with Guillermo, who is a former BMW engineer who turned his life around and opened up a sanctuary here in the motherland of Costa Rica, where he helps others really connect with themselves at a higher level, get in tune with nature. And I can speak from experience that this place is absolutely life-changing. So we want to share Guillermo's story and how he went from the corporate world to back to his native land of Costa Rica to open up this beautiful heavenly sanctuary. And we're going to use this podcast as a portal to help you get in touch with yourself. Hopefully, I know actually Guillermo's story is going to be influential and life-changing for you as it has for me. And we're looking forward to share this with you. Thanks.
Oh, good.
Thank you. Speaking from the heart, as we do here, so easy to. And all right.
Awesome.
Take it away.
Thank you for joining us, Guillermo. We're really excited to have you on the podcast today. Remember you. Welcome home. What we'd like to first understand a little bit is, how did you get to where you are today? Give the listeners a quick overview of, what your journey was.
It's hard to put in few words, but if I really need to try, I would have to say I finally listened to my heart's call. Everybody has this thing that they want to become, that they fantasize about, but they don't take it serious enough that it is actually possible. And it's not just possible, it's really what you should do. If you have a strong feeling about something and you put it off, the universe and eventually your body is going to remind you. And I had to go through that, but now I really listen to that call, and I'm living really my not just my dream life, but what I think is really a total alignment with what I should be doing in this incarnation. So it's very fulfilling. It was a scary process. It scared also my family, my friends, but looking back, I mean, it was really an important thing that I needed to do.
So what was the life-changing event that you said, hey, I'm going to go from being a BMW engineer to uprooting my life in Germany and moving back to my homeland in Costa Rica? What was that turning point for you?
Yes, it was a whole process. It wasn't really a turning point. I guess the last drop or when the universe was really shouting is when I got sick. I got burned out, and I started to faint in the middle of meetings. And the doctors couldn't say really what I had. I had all kinds of tests done, and they're like, we don't know why you're fainting. But I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the last wake up call. From there, it became to gradually become easier and easier until literally the planets aligned in a way that it was for me no longer a difficult decision, but the most obvious thing that I need to do. And then just the doors began to open one after the other, and it's been a sprint since then.
It always is, right, when you have a goal. So tell us what then the goal is for Jungle Jam, where you are now in your resort.
Jungle Hub, it's called.
Jungle Hub. Okay, sorry.
You said a vision, the vision of it?
Yes.
Yes. Well, the thing is that the end goal is still unknown to me. My job is to listen to what I really, really absolutely know that I have to do next and do that. I don't try to plan ahead many steps to see. If people ask me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I honestly have to answer, I don't have an idea. I don't know, but I do know one thing. It's going to be great. And right now, the kind of thing we are doing, I could not have thought this, not even by a long shot, that I would be doing this now when I first bought the land, when I already committed. So it's been a process where the end goal is being revealed to me as I step into the journey and just do what I'm convinced that I need to do next. And since, well, this can become a lot. This has been for me the platform where I can have the time that you need to dedicate for the spiritual path, for the spiritual process. And it's been for me really giving me permission to do that, in contrast to my previous life. And my wish, my idea is that I can offer this to other people to come experience it, because it's very difficult to describe in words, but being here, it's something about being truly immersed in nature and having just the mountain in front of you with nothing else, no contaminants of any kind, whether visual or acoustic or in the water, in the air, in the food. Just immersing yourself in this kind of environment is what does it to you. And if I can share it with the most people, then I this is at least the goal that I have in front of me right now.
Okay.
Hold on real quick. You started, what was it, about 10, 12 years ago when you bought this land?
Yes, I bought 12 years ago because I at the moment, my goal was to purchase a piece of land. I am from Costa Rica, so I know after being 18 years in Germany, I really came to miss and appreciate our nature here that is abundant, magnificent, lush. And I really wanted to buy a piece of land. And yes, that's how it started 12 years ago. We were talking about this morning during breakfast. My father actually gave me an ad, and he's like, I think this is something like you what you're looking for. And I came to visit it, and I was blown away. Like I don't know, I felt like I was in a different dimension, and something had come to me that meant a lot. Yeah, I decided to buy immediately. I brought my dad on the same day. I called him. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing right now? Nothing. Okay, well, I'm gonna come pick you up to bring you to that piece of land you showed me, because I just want a second opinion. I think I need to buy it. And then he came and he's like, yeah, I think that's what you're looking for, and it all looks good.
The synchronicity here with like his journey going from BMW engineer for 18 years, and this land was completely, untamed whatsoever. So it's like the mountains that we look out in the distance are just full of lush forest, and there's no cultivated land really. And the space that he engineered and really integrated within nature, it's a sanctuary where you can walk around freely. He's growing vegetables and fruits. It's got just all sorts of it took time. Where he started off, you were saying this morning that he spent like 1 or 2 times a year just to come out and do some work. And it just slowly built. It was like one step at a time. He continued to just groom the land and integrate it. And 10, 12 years later now, it's just this beautiful, integrated humans with nature that is just very unique.
So how much land did you purchase?
It's about 10 acres.
Okay, so you have 10 acres, and then you can feel the energy, the positive energy from the nature of being present there is what it is, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that he was searching for when he found this land, you really had some like key cornerstones. Can you share that?
Yes, I mean, I was looking simply to get a piece of nature here, so I could really work on it. And when I came to this place, first I saw a huge, about 300-year-old Guanacaste tree, which are amazing beings. They're super, super big. And the other one was the waterfall. When we came down there, I saw that space. It was like a cathedral. It's the word I like using because it's inside of a canyon, and you have this very large waterfall that's 22 meters high, and this beautiful pond where you can swim with crystalline water. And I was like, how is it possible that I am able to buy this? And then the last one was the North Mountain close to us. It's super, super steep. It's also the reason why it's still virgin jungle, because it's so steep that they have never been able to really use it in any kind of way or cut trees or anything. So we have this, it's like a wall that's really high and really close and really lush. And I set up many, many windows looking to that mountain. Those three factors is what really captivated me to feel that this is the right place.
So with the feel of having the right place that brings the right feelings and ecosystem to your visitors, how do you help your visitors also connect their body and mind as one so they can heal?
Yes. The practices that we do here every day include meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I do the guided meditations. Meditation is what I love doing the most. It's the favorite time of the day when we do the guided meditation, because I think that's who I am. After being a BMW engineer, now I am a meditation teacher.
You're a meditation engineer.
Yes, a meditation engineer. So yes, we do that every day. We do it at sunset because it's the most beautiful time of the day to look out into the mountain, into the sky, and there is these amazing light shows happening, or clouds slowly taking over and blocking the whole view. All of a sudden, you're like, everything is white around you, and you feel like they turned off the matrix, and it's just a wonderful time to do the meditation. And then I do a guided meditation that is a one-size-fits-all. It doesn't matter if you've been meditating for decades or if you're completely new and this is your first time. It's just my own method to really understand what is the purpose of meditation and what is it that we're doing and why. And I do it very, very slowly.
Yeah, I can speak from experience. The first day coming here, I came in and we sat down, we went through the meditation, the view of the mountains. It was just, it's not only the 10 acres, but the whole surrounding environment that he immerses us in. And it's, as you walk up and down the paths that he's created, it's just always, it puts you in a place where there's no distractions. So you're always reflecting, or you're always maintaining a level of presence that you can't in an urban environment. And it's just, you hear the cicada and the birds, and there's butterflies and dragonflies everywhere. And it's just like flowers and greenery, all sorts of types of plants and stone walkways. And it's just this like integrated system. And he, with his engineer background, he went through a permaculture course where he found he's used the land he's not forcing the land into his construction. His construction forms around the land. So everything is just really, it flows. It has this like what I call like a Machu Picchu type of construction, because it's so steep. He was able to like create levels along the way where the individual housing is for each occupant, and the pathways that lead to the mystic pond that leads into the deep jungle, which then leads into the waterfall. And every step of the way, whether you're going up or down, is a meditative experience. Like, it's a journey within yourself as you're walking up and down these paths every single day. They provide amazing food. They cook and from scratch 3 times a day. We have it's a meditative process. He was explaining this yesterday, where we sit and we pause and we do an internal prayer and meditation for ourselves amongst the entire group. And before
so let me ask a quick question to qualify this for our listeners. So that internal, that internal prayer that you're doing, is that to bless the food and bless your body so that it really nourishes you as you move forward into your day? It's doing that grateful, thankful prayer and meditation. Is that what that is? Or can you explain it a little bit on what you're doing there?
That's absolutely right. But it can mean something different for everybody. So some people may be praying to Jesus. Mm-hmm. Some people may be saying thanks to the universe. Some people simply are trying to be in presence and simply enjoying the present moment. Any of these practices is going to have a great effect on you gaining more nourishment from the food, by blessing it, like you said, by honoring that, okay, now we are going to eat, and it's a sacred thing. So let's pay a few seconds of attention that the things we were talking about before was a different energy, and now we're going to enter the energy of consuming wonderful meals that were prepared with love. So it's all about consciousness.
Yeah. And that's something that our listeners can take away with them today as an easy thing to do, right? Even though, you're busy and you've got kids and a job and all of these things, this is one takeaway that they can practice at the table. Whether, you believe in God, you believe in the universe, whatever, a higher power, if you take the time to really be present and say a blessing to the food, be thankful for where it came from, and ask your body to really take in the nourishments that the food has. I mean, we could get into a whole nother episode about what's good to put into your body and what's not, but even just doing that simple practice helps bring you into the present, bring more consciousness into what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Absolutely. And it has other benefits. We were also mentioning yesterday that it's about creating a new ritual, because the goal of a ritual is that you practice it often, mm-hmm. every day or many times a day, so that the energy you're trying to achieve really gets established in your presence, in your body, in your bones.
Yes.
So, but it's not easy to start a new ritual from itself. So what we're doing here is we are attaching the new ritual we want about consciousness, all of this you talked about. We're going to attach it to the ritual of eating, which we never forget. And in that sense, we are really establishing a new ritual that we repeat at least 3 times a day. So that is an excellent way to manifest. If you 3 times a day, you become conscious of what it is that you want in your life. There is no best way, because manifestation is about living what you want, living it in your emotion, in your heart. Preceding the actual stuff, you can already enjoy it in your heart. Mm-hmm. And if you do it 3 times a day, I bet you're going to manifest quickly.
Yeah, because doing that, it's like developing a level of trust with the nature, universe, yourself. And so then you can just be present and enjoy the present instead of thinking about the past, and that doesn't matter anyways.
Or the future.
Or the future that hasn't happened, and it doesn't matter either. So yeah, it's a nice way.
That's perfect. So you give. Go ahead, Justin.
You had a good saying in last night's meditation. Said something about, you're meant to open this present, right? Something to that tune.
Yes. I believe that the present moment is full of presents, and mostly we go by and we don't open the presents.
Yep. Yeah, we don't enjoy it because we're thinking of the past or the future, when we can just enjoy right now. This is fun right now. We're enjoying right now. We can talk right now. Why can't we just enjoy it? And I guess when you have a job like being a BMW engineer or anything else that can involve stress, you can't be doing that or you're not doing that. And so sometimes all of us have to get back to let's be present. What can we enjoy this present moment? And we all forget that when we're not in nature.
Well, and I think too, something I'd like to get your thoughts on is in the United States and all over the world, there's a huge problem with suicide and mental health and all of these things, right? Because we have a tendency to put a lot of stress on each other, our families, our employees, everybody who we work with, right? And in every relationship. How is what you're doing helping with the mental health and being in the present and allowing people to see the beauty of life? What do you think the most prominent modality is for your resort that you're using right now with your visitors?
It's a combination of immersion in nature with healthy food, with having taken out all the distractors.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's our recipe here. And then the meditation comes on top, just for beginning to actually train how to do it. So they also take that away. But yeah, it's all those factors at once, and we have seen it time and again for every single person that has stayed here for more than 4 days. It's always the case that city people they come super stressed. You can notice it in their behavior, in their demeanor, and after 3 days they begin to change, and when they leave, they are a different person. So
And so do you
It's very powerful. I could say something
Okay.
real quick to add to that.
Fine.
The interaction between people at the table when we're eating, the conversations that we're having are very much depths. Like it's just a constant talk of deep, meaningful, spiritual, connected conversation, and we're sharing stories, we're sharing our past trials, tribulations, and then just letting it go and being able to relate to one another on so many levels. It's really great to interact with other people who are at the same frequency.
So people are able to open up their, but I guess what I was going to ask is when they leave, do you know, are they able to carry on with this way of life when they go back to wherever they came from? Do they try to?
Yes, it's up to their person. And I have heard both parents. There's people who really, and they are still in contact with us. We're constantly writing, and they're telling me how they are. I don't know, maybe they started following some meditations I have on YouTube, or they tell me about how they're implementing the recipes that we had, or everybody loves this taking a silent moment. My cousin was here, and he's like, I'm definitely going to start doing this with my kids. I've also noticed the other version, people that when they go back to their everyday, they start to get amnesia, is what I call it. They start to get amnesia about their time here. And I can show you, they write me letters this long about their experiences when they leave. But then after 6 months, it seems like they just went back to the old ways. It's kind of easy for that to happen if you don't keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that we talk about on this podcast a lot is about how when you're making changes and you really want to make a change, you have to make small incremental steps. And if you're not taking each of those steps seriously and doing it for 4 to 6 months, you will slip back into your old habits and behaviors because it becomes a natural programming that we have with our body, right? We are constantly in a trance or, our own self-hypnosis of where we just go to autopilot. And autopilot for a lot of people, because of the way that we were raised, educated, those types of influences means stress, overworking, constantly, being driven by high, well, Justin knows about this, high dopamine and serotonin, adrenaline levels, all of that, right? And so doing that, being mindful is a practice. And even if somebody takes, 7 minutes a day and does that just with the 3 meals, like you're saying, that will start to change your practices and behaviors, and you won't develop that amnesia that you're talking about.
Exactly.
The journey that Guillermo was sharing with us a couple of days ago with his journey to get from BMW to here. Could you share how it went from like working full time, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to take time off? So it was a series of events. It was a slow process, all in all. But could you share like how it went from full time work to then that journey and then where you're at?
Sure. We have to go back a number of years, and I had this girlfriend that must have been around 2006, 2007, and whenever, I don't know, she started telling me, you know what, I don't feel that you're happy at work. And I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So it was very interesting that she noticed it first, because obviously you're always the last to know, right?
Yes.
You're always the last to know. And and this girl said it to me enough times that later, we were not even together anymore. Later, I got the opportunity to take a sabbatical from work, because something really started to tick, and maybe I was starting to notice now myself. And so I took the opportunity to do a sabbatical. That was already 2010. And one of the things that I did when I was here was that permaculture course, and I visited a lot of projects like mine all around the country. And wow, I started to this passion that was dormant in me, because as a kid, I just spent the whole day in the garden. This passion began to become alive again, reflourish. And then I went back to BMW, and this was really the hardest time for me in the job, because now I really knew, not only I knew that I wasn't completely happy with my mainstream life, but I had already seen what it can become, how other people can really do all the things and follow their heart, and they are not just okay. They are doing great. That's where I want to go. And so it even took some more years for me to really come to terms completely and relinquish my previous life that I thought I needed to have. I thought that's what it is, and I'm kind of trapped, and I thought that was my reality. But no, you have to trust. I think you mentioned the word trust before. This is the gateway. Trust is the gateway. Once you go to that gateway, everything becomes a lot easier. And then I stretched it out so much that I became sick, like I said before, and I had burnout. And then my next step was to talk to my boss and tell him that I needed to reduce my working hours. And luckily in Germany, it's like that. In the US, I think it would be probably a little more difficult, but I was able to reduce my number of hours from 40 to 28. And my salary was going to be reduced too, but that didn't matter to me. I was making enough money that I could easily do that. And that was one of the most important things that I did. From then on, that was, I think, that the point where I was at the highest in the crisis was that. And then after I really took time to listen to myself, to try to make more music, spend more time in nature, then everything really became easier. Everybody hated me in the office because Thursday at noon, I would get up and be like, all right, guys, have a nice weekend. And it seems like everybody wants it, but everybody's so afraid to step out of the rat race for some reason. And everybody loves going to the beach and seeing the night sunset and eating healthy food. But I don't know, we're like track, thinking we have to do this for some other reason, and hard to break free. But
it's interesting. We talk about this too. It's an abundance mindset versus a lack mindset. And knowing that, your journey is different than my journey or Justin's or Michelle's and our listeners, right? Everybody has their own journey and their own vision for their life. And some people, going to the beach is not what they see. They want to, sit and read books in the library, or they want to do other things, right? So it's first finding that vision and then realizing that you have abundance. This world, Mother Earth, gives abundance to us. There's not a reason to come at life with lack. And that's what gets you stuck in the rat race. And so think modalities like you're offering to people help open up that understanding. And then you're giving them the gift, that presence, right, to move through their entire life then and have it infiltrate different areas of their life that will help them build their vision and have that abundance every day.
And that's the thing that most people think abundance comes from working long hours and hard. And that's not true. You can have abundance going to Costa Rica and living in nature and enjoying nature and doing it how you choose to do it. Everyone can choose how they can live a happy life and still have abundance. And that's where we're all lost, is we are programmed to believe work hard, work long hours, don't have any fun, and then you're going to have the abundance. And that's not true.
Yeah, the thing that we kind of hit on and Guillermo does so well here, or this place really just facilitates, is that gap, that space for time for yourself. And it's in the hustle and bustle society where you're taking care of kids, you're working, you got to drop them off, you got to pick them up, you got to do all this other stuff. And then you got people hitting up your phone on non-working hours. Time to yourself is so deficient, right? So that time where you can spend 30 seconds before a meal and conscious eating without the screen with people that you love and want to connect with. And maybe you're so wrapped up in so many conflicts that you got to maybe discuss and process those conflicts, maybe after food or during the dinner table, to create a safe space where you all can, unload and reconnect. And food is a part of that big aspect of this. And it's a very simple equation, but we make it very complicated.
Right. Because
yes, I feel like I am the richest man alive because I have so much time for myself. I measure wealth or abundance in terms of really how much time do I have to focus on whatever it is that I should be doing now, whether it is to mow the grass or be in meditation with the people here, or repair something. It's just having that choice that I'm gonna do something different now. It's a foreign concept for people that are inside the rat race.
Well,
and it's important to be able to just do what you want to do out of love and not out of that you have a contract with somebody.
That's well said. I agree with that, and I think the word that I get to instead of I have to, or the phrase, I guess, is really important, right? And so you just basically told the listeners, you could either look at mowing the lawn as having to mow the lawn, and that's a chore that you just have to do, or you get to mow the lawn because you love being out in nature. It's something that's making the facility that you have more beautiful for your visitors. And that is just leads you to more and more passion every day in your life. And I think that's a key takeaway to help people stay rooted that, yes, we're all part of this earth. We're all part of this reality, right? So, some people listening might be like, oh, it must be nice to just leave your job and go and start a meditation retreat, right? But that's your passion. That's your journey. The people who, have jobs and do things that they love, they got into that from a passion or a journey. Now, understand that you get to do that every day and make the best of it. And then the time that comes as you learn as you get better at the position that you're in, or working with the employer or whatever, you start to have more and more free time. You can become a leader. Maybe you delegate some things. Maybe you teach other people your trade and what you learn. And then that's passing it on, right? So it's how you view life is what I'm hearing you say, is that we really get to live in the present. And the one thing that we don't get back is time. So use your time wisely.
Yeah, there was a couple of things that came up when you were talking, Christina, and we talked about it this morning to the new visitors that came in. It's like, it's a paradox because time doesn't exist here. It's like you just get lost in connecting with yourself, right? And there's so many signs and synchronicities here. We're having a conversation and then a butterfly will fly in, a hummingbird will fly right in front of your face, or it's just so many things and that nature is giving you signs and symbols of that confirm what you're connected to. And the other thing, Guillermo talked about what he did as a child. And remember, it was all about getting back to truly love doing. And I find so many people who are living out their passion, and truly the richest man or woman alive is when they're really reconnecting with what they used to love to do as a child.
Yes.
There is a lot of importance, and it needs to be placed in getting to know really who you are. Because if you never had time to slow down, to meditate, to really do what you want instead of doing the rat race, if you never had that time, maybe even the own concept of yourself is kind of a mental construct or a story. And so how can you know what you want to do in your life if you don't know who's really asking? Because knowing exactly what your passion is and following that, whether it's the same career that you already have and you want to explore a different route like you were explaining, or whether it is 180-degree turn like me, it doesn't matter. You have to slowly, step by step, begin to align to your true authenticity. First, get to know yourself outside of the story that you have about yourself. Get to know that person and ask that person, okay, what kind of person are you and what do you want to do? And then allow yourself to explore that, and you will see how the door will begin to open.
Yeah.
There was something he mentioned a couple of days ago when we were eating about the upside down world. Could you explain that? The Matrix and upside down world, how like it just, I'll let him go into it.
Yeah, well, this is another, not just another podcast episode. This is a whole nother podcast name because it's a huge topic. But yes, I believe we live in a inverted matrix, if you want to call it, which is a kind of false world where everything seems to be inverted, the values, etc. So I see it all the time. The kind of leaders that the world has seems upside down for the most part. The fact that the most well-paid job is to be like a broker and playing with people's money like it's a game, and whereas nurses and kindergarten teachers are underpaid, or musicians and artists in general. So I see a lot of things where things are upside down. So I like to call it the upside down world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This place really flips it.
And you can find examples where it's really the opposite. Like if you take, the truth becomes the fakeness, the fakeness becomes the truth. It's really confusing. You just have to flip the word over, and it's kind of the effect. It's really an inversion that we are living in, that 3D aspect of the world.
Mm-hmm. So I'd like to talk now about some different modalities that you've dabbled in throughout your journey. Justin said that you have facilitated hero dose psilocybin journeys. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you've learned from it?
Well, I've only done a little bit of that and experimented a little bit of that with my ex-wife and myself. I haven't really assisted officially, except with Justin, that just simply asked me some guidance spontaneously is what I told him, but I haven't really done it a lot or in an official manner. But yes, I have had some amazing experiences myself.
So can you share one with us?
Well, at the beginning, I was experiencing what you could call the bad ride of your journey, and it was really intense, And only later, because I've only done it in total maybe about 5 times. So the first couple of times, I would say it was super intense, and after that, it's been easier. But yeah, I always say that you learn a lot more from a so-called bad ride than from a wonderful experience of peace and unicorns and rainbows, right? So I am really appreciative of those tough times where I was really doing some hardcore inner work that was making my whole body turn, and it was very intense. But later I got to experience it. The first super beautiful experience was when I was laying down. I always like to do this in a very ceremonial kind of way, setting an intention, doing a little meditation, because these powerful natural plants deserve a lot of respect. They are really going to help you only if your whole mindset is that, and your purpose is aligned, right, with the light, let's say. And so in one of these experiences, I was laying down, and I began to feel the sensation of the mushroom beginning to grow out of my chest until it grew. And at a certain moment, when it was big enough, I became the mushroom. And I was looking up, and I saw what it looked like a beautiful cathedral composed of sacred geometry and colors that I had never experienced before. And I was the mushroom, and I was looking up in the sky, and I understood that this plant is a very advanced being, much more advanced, at least when it comes to experiencing the multidimensionality than where we are right now.
I love that. All right. Justin, I think you had said that you had an experience too that you'd like to share.
Yeah, I brought some with, not knowing how I was going to use it, but I just brought it with, and Guillermo and I, we did like a little low dose prior for our first journey down to the waterfall, and it was just very sharp, and it heightens your senses and connection, but you're not having this whether it's the dark experience or the crazy light experience. It's just like this, you're just more in touch and in tune.
It's not it's not like overwhelming. And are you talking like macro dose or a micro dose? Because micro doses are what a lot of people are now using to help with the brain functioning, right? And where you don't even really realize that you're taking it, that there is no real like effects, visual or anything like that. It just helps you from a mental clarity perspective. What you're talking about, did you do like a macro dose where you could kind of feel it, but it wasn't super overwhelming or like overpowering, or you're having any super visuals or anything like that?
Yeah, it was like what I would call, you call a macro dose, I would call a low dose, where it's like you feel it. It's not throwing you out of reality, though. You're still grounded. And you might see a little bit of like aura around plants or things like that, but nothing really. It sharpens your senses is the best way to put it. But then it was just yesterday, we wrapped up breakfast, and I was like, I know what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go down to the waterfall on my own, and I'm going to take a high dose. I wouldn't call it a hero dose, but it's the most I've ever taken before. And what I took was a little, like a handful the day before, and I took like 5 handfuls yesterday. And I was like, okay, we're in it. I know I'm going to go somewhere with this.
No, hold on, wait. For our listeners, do not try this at home. And if you are, make sure you have somebody there with you that can help you through this journey, because if you don't know what you're doing, it can be very scary and you can get into a bad situation. So, okay, go on.
Okay, go ahead.
Good disclaimer there. So I go on the outskirts here. And so anyways, we finished up breakfast, waited about a half hour, took the mushrooms. And then as I was getting ready to go, I didn't do as much of a ceremonial process as he did, because I took it and then all of a sudden I was getting messages from my son to get ready for school and registration, sending documents over to his mom. And I was like, it was a touch of like reality back home.
Yeah.
It started coming in about a half hour later as I was just finishing that up. So I wasn't in like a stressful state, but I wasn't in a peaceful state either. It was more of a go, go, go.
I think that worked out for you.
It did. It really did.
It removed the expectation of what's going to happen to me now. And you were distracted and you felt it because you really did feel it. You were not anticipating something and being awkward about it, because that could block the effect. You were so distracted, and when you started to feel it, it's okay. This is unequivocally.
Yes.
The trip started.
It's really happening. And I came up to Guillermo when he was doing some gardening by the greenhouse, and I said, "Hey, took a decent dose. You got any recommendations?" And he just looks at me as the wise man and just goes, "Surrender." And I said, "Okay." I have my backpack, my swim trunks, and started trekking down. And it's a whole like path to get down. There's this mystic pond that you go through, and I'm walking barefoot. And he's got it paved, but then there's also all sorts of, plants and animals and things. And I took there was a little berry that he introduced me to the day before, and I took it as like kind of a ceremonial introduction into the jungle. And I was just getting feedback from everything around me as I started feeling it. But at the same time, I started getting I was walking with my fear and my doubt, because this is the first time I'm trekking down this path on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I had Guillermo lead the way the first time into this unknown landscape and jungle. And I just kind of followed his path blindly, like a father with a child, right? Just trusting the process. This time it was all on me. So the journey started from handling my son's business to then getting into now releasing into the jungle and walking that path. And I was facing all sorts of fears and doubt, and also walking through and talking with myself, and got down to the waterfall, and it's this whole big canyon that just opens up. So it's this big like vein of water that is just flowing through the forest, and it's just this megalithic structures and rocks, and it's so humbling, it's so powerful, and it's so peaceful. And I got down there, and I was eyeing some spots that I wanted to jump from into the water near the waterfall, the main waterfall. The big 22 foot, I don't know what that is in feet, but was it like
70 or something?
Yeah, 70 feet or something. It's like, it's up there. It's a big waterfall.
Yeah.
So I was facing that jump to go into the water, and I just felt this immense amount of like challenge. It felt like a child trying to prove himself. And I just stood there at the end and I was feeling it fully at this point. And I just stood there, and I told myself, I don't need to jump in here. There's a nice pool off to the side that leads to the canyon that goes down. There's just waterfall after waterfall after waterfall after waterfall. So there's this smaller waterfall where there's always these pools before the water flows into the next canyon or the next pool of water. And I sat in that water, and I dunked myself, and it felt like a baptism, like where it was just like completely relinquished. I felt like the motherly nature just hold me and like release me. And I didn't need to prove anything. Like where I was at that edge of the ledge where I needed to jump, it felt like I needed to prove something. And I didn't jump in the water yet. So I wanted to do like something extreme to just like anchor the experience as something monumental, where I was like, I just stood there and I go, I used to need to jump and prove something. I don't need to. I'm going to go on to this water. And when I went into the water, it just completely released the fear and anything. It felt so right and peaceful. And then I came up out of the water, and there was this gap up in the forest where it opens up and the sun was right in the middle. And as I looked up, I saw the cathedral that he's speaking of is something to the tune of this, where you see the sun and then the geometry between the sky and the jungle and the canopy down all the way to me. And it was just this beautiful array of colors and geometry and patterns. And as I stared up at the sun, I just started laughing hysterically, because the message that I got was, this is just one big fucking cosmic joke. Like the fear, the doubt, it felt like, you know, when you get like jump scared by somebody and they got you and you start laughing afterwards, that's what it felt like. Like that whole journey to go down there with the fear and the doubt and having to prove myself just got completely released. And I probably laughed hysterically for what felt like 10 minutes. And it was just like, all of the stories and everything that I've experienced and in synchronicities and signs recently and in the past just kind of came in that very moment. And it was just all like this big cosmic joke. And we were just laughing, and I was just laughing with the sun and just being connected to earth and the sun and everything in between. And then there was just a release and this like childlike vitality and presence. I got up from that pool, I took a drink of water, and then I was ready to explore and just explore every aspect and curvature and flow of the water, and just went down into the canyon and these are big rocks and you can hurt yourself. I mean, these are not things that you just go into and just walk a path. Like, you're climbing, you're scaling down, there's wet rock, there's slick rock, and it's just such a beautiful, it trumps what I would imagine the pyramids are. I've been to Chichen Itza, I've been to these megalithic sites down in Mexico. This place trumps it because it's just so natural and curated from nature and Mother Nature itself. And you're seeing faces in the rocks, and you're connecting with all these spirits and going through the process. And it's so intimate, and I was on my own. So he gave me the space just to say, you know, go on your own and come back when you're ready. And it was a complete surrendering. So that pool, being in that pool, was a complete surrender, which led to laughter, which led to just, he calls it the playground. And it really is just a big playground where you're a kid exploring and climbing and moving around and looking at things and just having conversations, and just it was absolutely amazing. And to cap it off, when I came back, there was this torrential downpour that I went down the river, the canyon, and there's dry spots and there's slick spots, and I made my way back up, and I actually made a false step at one point coming up to just show you how kind of dangerous it could be. Is I slipped on a rock that had some algae or some soot on it underneath, and I ended up straining my groin, but making it out okay. And I made it all the way to the top where I was at that pool, and then it just started pouring down rain. So the canopy's open in that spot, and you just have this beautiful array of light and rain just coming down and absolutely just soaking the entire area. And I got up at the right time, because if I was all the way down there, I would have been in trouble. And so it was like just this beautiful timing of knowing when to go, when not to go, not thinking about anything other than just being in flow with nature. And I got up, walked all the way back from that area up to where we are now, into the kitchen. And it was Guillermo and Javi, the other gentleman here, who were sitting in the kitchen waiting for lunch for me, or having lunch. And I came in and joined them. And the look on their faces, like they're like little kids just going, how was it? And they saw the look on my face, and we had the same look. And I was just like, I didn't even need to say anything to them. Like, I know they had their own experience in the same way that I had my experience. And it was just like heavenly, absolutely euphoric, and every emotion that you could have ever experienced, in the most enlightened, powerful, joyful, energizing, exciting way, without the hangover.
Yeah.
And it was such a wholesome experience, and that it was a journey in and of itself.
Well, isn't it interesting too why a lot of people will call psilocybin a drug, but it is not. It's a true medicine that heals you from the inside out. And doing something like that's a very interesting, if you look at the metaphors that are in that, just what you just talked about, that's what Mother Earth and the universe give to us, metaphors. And so you were on this journey, and if I can use my words to explain what I just heard, you were on this journey. And when you started out the journey, you weren't living really in the present because you were worrying, like, what's this going to be like? Where am I going to go? How am I going to prove myself? All of these things, what everybody does as they start out on their own. And it's easy to follow somebody, right? It's easy to follow someone who's been there, done that. And it does help in a lot of our journeys, right? Where you can learn from mentors, coaches, things like that. In the end, though, you have to put one foot in front of the other and move and experience it yourself and live in that present moment. And that's when, to me, your journey took a turn when you realized, I don't need to fear this. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I'm here for myself and to experience this experience in the present. And guess what? I'm going to go wash my soul off in the safe pond or waterfall instead of the pond that is deathly, right? And you made that choice. And that was the choice that you made on your journey, right? It's just like all of our listeners. Everybody has those choices. And it's going within, being present, and listening to what your body needs and what the universe is telling you. And this medicine opens up a portal to allow you to get more in touch and shut off all of the external things that are always going on around you. And that's why people who do this, they need less and less of the medicine because they're more and more open to the signs and to living in the present and being able to be more of an observer of your life, right? So you just kind of observed all of that as you lived it, and you lived in the present, and you did these things, and you had an eye-opening, awakening experience. And that is special. And that special, grounds that Guillermo had for you, that the special resort, that was an optimal area to do that. You're away from all of your external things that, might stress you out. You had your phone put away. You were in a beautiful Mother Earth situation that is undisturbed by all of the things that we've created that disturb our natural rhythms. So I'll be quiet that was beautiful. It was a beautiful journey.
You summarized it beautifully, and you're spot on with everything. There's not one thing that I think you were off on. You got it. And I told him, whether you're a white belt or black belt in this journey, however you want to define it, this sanctuary, however far down that path you go, like there's a paved path. And then from there, Mother Nature creates this path beyond that. And it's really up to you how deep and how heavy you want to go into it. And it's like, I told him, I'm like, you're like a sensei. You just let me, get to a point where like you gave me enough tools and enough guidance, and then you're on your own and come back when you need to. And it's like a safe place to come back home to, and then to freely experience this. And then just the cool experience with seeing these guys at the table, and like, I didn't even need to say everything that I just said, like that you just saw the joy in their eyes and like that, like recognition of he got it and in his own way. And I could see they had what I experienced. I knew they experienced because of the look on their faces. And words don't do it justice, but I tried to give as much as I could there.
Yeah. So when I was listening, and what I liked about it is when you started laughing, is because it seemed like we all put pressures on ourselves. We have thoughts in our heads, beliefs in our heads about certain things about life. And then we put pressure on ourselves to prove something. And then you realize that it's myself putting the pressure on me. Me and my thoughts are causing all of this. And so why don't I just laugh at it like it's a stupid thing I'm thinking in my head or putting pressure on myself about? So to release that, I know you mentioned ego a lot before about taking something like this to release the ego and just enjoy nature, right? Or enjoy life. So it's like you had a release in that moment. And so you feel like it can carry on in the future.
That's a beautiful, because I believe, and I think Justin, you are aligned with me, but the ego is the boa constrictor of the soul. And so at that point, his ego was totally released and his soul, his true soul came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very much that type of connection.
Small ego death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those things that I'll never be the same from. Those words in the beginning of the journey, surrender, carried on into a meditation this morning where, we got this Lion's Gate opening up and we're processing it here just as we are as a team on the portal, not the podcast, that it was just, it's already done. And, whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish and all, trying to manifest or visualize means, path, how, it's already done. So just embrace that, give thanks for that, gratitude for what is already done, because that message, that imagination, that vision, that pull to come to Costa Rica, it was already done. Like, just trust, have faith in the process and walk one step at a time, as you said. And the journey physically, we keep on talking about 3D to 5D, and Guillermo talks about this all the time since we've been here. Like, I met myself in 5D. Yeah. Like, it was so multidimensional. It is so multidimensional, and it's beyond time. It's beyond even, you're not in touch with physical reality, yet you are. It's just this paradox between you're at a higher level. And this place facilitates that.
And let me ask this too. So there's been a lot of talk and around the 3D to 5D situation that we're currently, that's like a lot of people are talking about, like, as humanity, we need to raise our consciousness. We need to get out of the 3D. We need to get to the 5D dimension. Meditation is one way of doing that. The medicine journey is another way of doing that. How would you suggest the listeners to maybe practice anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes a day to raise their consciousness and have an experience maybe without medicine through either meditation or breath work? What could they do?
Well, yes, I believe the powerful nature medicine is not for everybody. Mm-hmm. Shouldn't also be developed into a habit of doing it. It's super powerful, and it's enough to do it once a year, a few times, and then it's not for everybody. But it can be a very eye-opening experience, because for some people it's really needed. For the people that are so immersed in their 3D reality that they don't even know how to begin to understand that there is another state of consciousness that is beyond the mind, for example. Mm-hmm. It will break their minds trying to understand that, but you give them a little bit of psilocybin in the right dose, because that's also an issue, very important. Everybody needs to find the right dose. Then it will shift them to the other state of consciousness, whether they want to or not, and they will finally understand what this is about.
Yes.
And this experience alone is enough to know, okay, and now I know what you were talking about. But yes, people can do meditation. They can start to experience presence and consciousness by small things like this little ritual before eating, or by going a little more out of nature, doing some breath work. These are all good things.
And you and our listeners can follow you, right, on YouTube, and we can put that in the show notes. Do you do free meditations on YouTube, or?
Yes, I have the 4 basic steps that I follow here.
Okay.
I want to do more recordings because I keep changing my style, but there are already some nice resources in my YouTube channel.
Okay, great. Well, we'll put it in the show notes. So thank you. Do you have any other questions?
No, I guess not.
Justin, anything to add?
No, I would say it's the unique. This place is very, very unique. I've been to many places, homesteads and sanctuaries, and this place is just next level. And I urge anybody and everybody of interest who wants to have a life-changing experience in 5 days, 4 or 5 days, whether you go on the journey that I did or you just completely just get in touch and in tune with yourself through good food, good surrounding, good energy, good people. No matter what your belief system is, you will not be judged. People are really open to hear who you are, what you are. He's had so many people come in from all walks of life, from geniuses who are scientific geniuses to people who are just nomads and traveling the world. And so you're going to be able to come out of this experience with something that you'll never forget. It'll call that child out within you. And what he was speaking of, like how to shift your perspective and change your mind to get out of you're looking for change. Like this is it's well worth the investment. And I gotta say, it's extremely the best investment I made in the past 5 years of my life. It's been the greatest investment that I've done so far, in terms of like travel and experience and adventure. You can go as big or as small as you need to. And it's a great stepping stone in the next level of your life.
That's awesome. All right. We'll also put some information in the show notes so that they can look at the resort and find out what, meets their needs and come visit you in the jungle.
Yes, thank you. Everybody's welcome to contact me about it. And I'm also very grateful to you guys for providing this platform. And it's been a super nice conversation.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It was so nice to meet you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and appreciate your time. And you have a beautiful thing going. Keep it up. It's what the world needs.
Thank you. Thank you. Come visit.
I will.
Yeah, we're going to go.
All right, listeners, thank you for tuning in. More next week. We appreciate you. Welcome home. Remember you.